have something.
Okay.
I might have something. It's probably gonna shock you.
Ooh, okay. Shock me.
Good morning.
Good
Welcome
morning.
back. So can we start that over?
Okay. Good morning and welcome back.
Actually, just keep
I
it.
love the bloopers.
Just
I think
keep
that's my
it.
favorite.
And so I was, before we pressed, well, we had already pressed record.
Yeah.
I told Brie, actually, I'm going to kick it off with something new that I've been thinking about this lately. And I told her it might shock you. So, I did my first show in 2023 as a wellness competitor and everything. And back then, I had this idea that I wanted to do a national show shortly after that. But it didn't happen. One, because I knew I wouldn't be ready to step on a national show. And second, because, my coach dropped me and ghosted me, whatever. And since then, I've been thinking, there was a time where I was like, oh my God, I need to do a show soon. Like it's going to be a year since I haven't been on stage. This, I don't want my off seasons to be too long. And now over time is passing by and I'm not sure I ever want to compete again. I am not sure.
Really?
Yeah. It's not that it's not for me. It's just that it's first of all, it's very expensive. It's very time consuming. It's hard work, but the hard work is not the part that scares me the most. I can do that pretty easily. But everything else, and you do all these sacrifices. You're not paid to train. You're not even paid to win unless you higher in the levels. But as an amateur, you're not paid. The traveling, it's a lot, and also because the wellness division is progressing to points to levels. It's a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they're trying to bring it back though. Like, because I know what you're talking about. There was a lot of women who have competed in wellness that switched division. So they were in figure and they
Right.
switched division. So they had like just like muscular upper bodies. And there have been a lot of women who are like seeing that. They're like, oh, well, I was in figure. I can do wellness because they do have the lower half, And
Right.
so then they're trying to taper down their upper body. So it was looking too hard. The division was looking really, really hard. I think that this year they're trying to really, really dial in and bring back that softer look because that's what it was like originally intended for. Like for the wellness competitors and for those who don't really follow along with like bodybuilding in general, like we have the new division now, which is the fit model, and we'll get into that. But so you have bikini and you have now wellness, there's figure, and then there's physique, right? So with bikini, the way bikini has developed and progressed, bikini has looked pretty hard, compared to, I think that's why they brought back the fit model. But wellness was like designed for what you and I intended to compete in, where it is a softer look. You don't see as many striations, and striations is like, if you look at like men, you can see like the development. You can see every single muscle fiber. And for us, you're not supposed to see that. Like,
If you do, they're gonna fill you up.
Yeah, they'll fill you up.
Which is what they did to me. I had striations on my VMO over here.
You looked wicked. It was so cool.
I would have the level of conditioning that I had. I think I could have done figure. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying in the first. I think I said it on the first podcast.
Yeah,
that I wanted to do figure at first.
Girl, I have seen like I follow. I don't know her real name, but Vitamin C.
Yeah, didn't she retire? Didn't she? retire, or maybe I'm confused. There's another one that retired.
She just looks phenomenal, and she still looks feminine. Like
It's her waist is so freaking tiny.
so tiny.
It's insane.
And I don't know how many wins she has, but she just, I don't think my upper body can ever get that jacked. And I did say that, like, because my sister, she was so upper.
Oh, I think you could. You're just not doing it. She's not training upper
I'm
body
not
at all.
training upper body.
I mean, if she trained upper body with me, it would grow.
Which is so crazy because, like, I had just done cardio only the other day, and it was just stairs. Mm-hmm. And, like, my entire body got a whole pump. I'm like, what in the world? Like, my biceps had pumped up. I'm like,
and you know what? There's a lot of wellness girls that don't train the upper body at all. That I see these pros and they post on their IG that they don't train upper body and stuff. And when they get to prep, they're still freaking jacked. Like
It's
they
wicked,
trained upper body. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I mean, obviously, like, when you're doing, like, deadlifts, you're still using your upper body,
Yeah.
Deadlifts. I mean, even loading plates, right? Like,
Right.
you're still, not to say I don't sneak in biceps once in a while, because I do, but it's once in a blue moon.
It's another
But I miss it.
thing. Another thing, speaking of biceps, I absolutely love training biceps. But they're getting really big, and it's to the point like when my arms resting, like you can tell I have big arms. And in the wellness division, you can't really do that. Like I'm gonna have to sacrifice training my upper body because I need to focus on growing the lower body. And I'm also taller. I'm 5'7". I stand no chance against these 5'3" chicks. You know what I mean? They look like bricks.
They just, yeah. And I just had that coaching call with my coach, and I was kind of talking about that because I'm like, I'm 5'5", and these shorter girls are just killing it. And she's like, oh, and I'm still so worried about my tie-ins. And I'm like, have my legs gotten big enough? And she's like, girl,
You don't see yourself.
that's what she said.
I was saying, she was setting up the camera. Your legs are huge, Brie.
I just don't see it,
You
I
can
don't,
like you gained muscle over here, and the hamstrings especially.
really.
You always had good quads, I would say, but
Thank you.
I can see a difference over here. The VMO and the hamstring, you can see the separation.
I'm
You're gonna
trying.
look great. I can't wait to see it.
I hope. And so that's what Marissa said. She's like, you know what, Brie? You sound like a competitor.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay. I'm like, because I'm still so in my head. So back to like you not competing, I wasn't sure if I ever wanted to again. And it wasn't because I had a coach drop me or anything, but I had not the best experience. Like that second prep just really freaked me out. Like,
yeah.
and I've actually never, ever shared this with a single soul. Not one person, but we're just gonna be super raw and authentic. And I'm sorry if I cry, but so my second prep, it messed me up so bad because I looked so lean, and when my sister was on her deathbed, she looked so sick and so Skeletor like, and
It reminded you of that.
yeah, it wasn't healthy. And I'm like, oh, I didn't want to cry. But seeing Desiree like that, and then I like saw myself like that,
Yeah.
and I'm like, it messed with my head a lot. I haven't told not even Paul that. And he's been like, you need to compete, and inside I'm like, I don't want to ever look like that, because it just brings me back to a time where seeing my healthy young sister look like she's 90 years old and have, she went from having muscles and vibrant and healthy and to not. So I wasn't ever sure if I was going to compete. And I feel like I have a coach who kind of gets me, and she's going to lead me down like a healthy, like we're in a very healthy spot right now, and we're going to take our time. So again, I'm not announcing my show, but I feel like this prep will be kind of not like a redemption for me personally, but like in honor of Desiree and the kids, to see something like you can still do this sport and still be healthy about it, and that's
Yeah.
Marissa totally understands. Like, she doesn't push a lot of PEDs, and we haven't talked about that. And I didn't want to.
But you were very undernourished then
I
too, right?
was, yeah.
You were
And
not eating a lot.
no,
Speaking of my prep, like I was eating 2,500 calories until show day. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that for you too, Brie. I never felt like I was, yes, I was limited on types of food, but I never felt that hunger that people talk about.
oh gosh, yeah. I wasn't even half what you were eating. I was at
Yeah.
1,100 calories.
And so you have a way better coach, and you're not gonna do that.
No, but that has been, I haven't said that to anybody. Like, I've been so nervous and I've been putting it off. And like, so we're going to do it. And I feel like it's going to be such a positive experience this time.
And what is your goal with that show? Tell us about it.
I mean, obviously I want to get my pro card. You don't want to.
Comes when I have another question before I forget. Okay. Why do you want your pro card?
Why? Because Desiree had said she always wanted to compete. And she had said, I feel like having her spirit with me,
yeah,
is my driving force. Having Lyric see, that there's just so many reasons, and this might be long. There's been a lot of addiction in my family.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of drugs. There's been alcoholism, and I live 95% sober, We've kind of talked about that, but I will have champagne. I'll have wine once in a blue moon. I don't even smoke weed. I don't take CBD.
I do.
I can't. I get weird. So there's like, I don't have anything against it, but
at night.
Really?
Not during the day.
I get so paranoid to the point where like I had CBD gummies and my parents were on vacation and I was calling them like a psycho. And I'm like, they're supposed to be home today. And I'm calling like literally probably every 15 minutes because in my head, just from CBD, like I had thought they'd driven off a cliff and died. Oh, but I also have fear of loss, Yeah. I mean, I've lost my sister. I've lost my brother. So I'm like, I get negative thoughts sometimes. But so my why is to show my kids you can live a healthy, sober life and still win. So it's not really about the trophy and being a pro. It's about showing my kids that like you can still win at life and you can win it in a positive way. I'm trying to show them like something completely different because addiction has been huge in our family,
Right.
And my mom's still an alcoholic.
My kid's dad is an alcoholic. I was married to an alcoholic and I never told anyone on social media.
I know.
And I tried to help him the best that I could. And this is the reason why I got divorced last year. It's been a little over a year.
Yeah.
And so my kids know what alcoholism is. It sucks. There's a lot of trauma that happened in their brain. I know it.
Yeah.
It's probably not showing right now, but it will one day. And I'm ready for it. I just hope it's not too bad because what they've been through, I don't wish it upon anybody. But at first I didn't understand it. I don't understand addiction because I don't have an addicted personality.
Yeah.
I've never been addicted to drinking or eating something. I'm addicted to the gym because of the feeling of well-being that comes with it.
The feeling of well-being, and probably also like, I feel like that's why you and I connect is we have gone through a lot of shit, and that's why we're here. Like we will little by little share our stories, but we have gone through so much. And I think like for you and me, like
the similarities,
there's so many. And I use the gym. That's my therapy. Like, and your ex-husband, alcoholic.
Yeah, I remember going to the gym at times where I knew it would be drinking. It was kind of like my little heaven.
Yeah.
And no one knew about it. It was just me and the kids. And my family knew because they came to visit here a few times. And they would tell me, Nelly, he has issues with drinking. I'm like, I know. It's been a long time. Just you guys don't see it because you guys are in Canada.
Yeah.
And so there was times it was pretty bad. But I tried to get him to leave, to quit. I blamed him for it. I blamed it for it. I didn't really understand, like, to me, you have a choice. You can either continue or stop. That's how I saw it. But right now, I know that it is a disease.
I know. And it's so hard to wrap your head around it. Like, I still can't fully wrap my head around my mother drinking. Like, I have really learned to not let it anger me anymore because it would just make me so irate. And now I just have to realize that's her path. My mom has developed alcoholic neuropathy. So that's no feeling in your limbs.
Right.
And she can hardly walk. She has fallen so many times. And we go back to like, even in, was it November? My mom fell on her face.
Oh my God.
And my dad comes in. She's flat on her face. She hit her head on the counter and her nose is bloody. So he sees blood. And I'm like, my poor dad. So my dad's sober. This is just like probably one of the deepest podcasts episodes we've had.
I think so. Me speaking about this in public is not like common. I'm not saying that to bash my kid's father. He's actually a very good person.
Yeah.
Huge heart. He's a hardworking, a great provider for his family. But there's this thing that he can't let go and he needs to fix. There's a trauma that he's been carrying inside of him that he's going to have to, look into. I tried helping.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's not much you can do for alcoholics. It has to be them.
It has to be them. And for you to show your kids, like, this is the lifestyle. Like, you can go one of two ways. And you're showing them that you can live a healthy, sober life through fitness and nutrition.
And it's why many times I said that I was doing it for my kids, and it's the truth. Because if it wasn't for me, my kids wouldn't have a healthy role model.
Yeah.
They love their dad so much, but they don't see it the way that I see. There's an issue. It's affecting them. They don't know that yet. They will know eventually when they grow up. They will look back and be like, "Oh yeah, dad drank," So
I mean, I was in their shoes as a kid growing up. Both of my mom and my dad, they were alcoholics, and there was a lot of toxicity. There was fighting and arguing and yelling, and I won't get into like deep into my childhood, but it was very hostile. So, I mean, I just knew that it was never, not to say I didn't drink. I mean, I was a teenager, like we got down with some Mad Dog 2020, but, that's what the trophy is for me. Like, winning is like, it's so much deeper than like a vanity thing. Like, here, look at my body. It's like, look at like the lifestyle I am like showing these kids. You can do it in a healthy way. You can be positive. You can use and turn your pain into power, pain into purpose. And that's what I really pray for Lyric is like, I hope that he uses his story and turns it into something phenomenal because he's an amazing baseball player. Like he's freaking incredible. And I don't want him to be cocky because sometimes like I have to like, homie, bring it down. Like we just had tryouts 2 weekends ago. He shows up in his all-star gear and we're like, and he's just nailing it. Like every coach, because like they're wanting to see what kids they want on their team and they're looking at him and I'm like, shoot, because we want him on a certain team. And we're like, dang it. Like, why'd you have to wear your all-star jersey? And so I'm like, dude, you need to be a little humble. Actually, that sign right behind you says work hard, be kind, stay humble. Now where's that? But so that's what the trophy is. Like really winning is like kind of like a symbol of winning at life and overcoming obstacles that not a lot of people could have done, like I should probably be the stereotype where I fell into addiction myself.
Yeah.
The day after my brother took his life, my dad just drank, and he was drinking and driving. And my dad is one of the coolest people you could ever meet. I have an amazing dad. I think
But he just lost a son.
he lost his daughter 2 years prior.
And his daughter.
And my brother took his life 2 years and a day after Desiree passed away. And my dad was drinking and driving home and wrecked his truck. He ended up in jail. And my dad is probably the most authentic, honest person. So I can talk about this. My mom is more private, so I don't want to speak on her too much. But one day maybe we could have my dad on here because he's so fucking cool. Like, you'll fall in love with my dad.
Yeah.
My dad, I have the best dad. And he's sober, and I don't know how he deals with someone.
Was he addicted?
He was an alcoholic.
He was an alcoholic.
And it got
and
worse.
Now he's sober.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
He's sober now because he knew I was going to be pissed. And he knew I was mad. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Like,
you see, that's the thing with kids. The kids don't have this, I'm pissed at that because he's drinking. They're going to try to make excuses for it.
Absolutely.
My kids are like, oh no, he's not drinking. He's fine. He's not drunk. He's fine, Mom. They don't see it the way that I see it. And that's why I was saying that when they grow older and they look back, now they're going to see, okay, our dad was an alcoholic.
Yeah. I think it's good for you to teach them, like, to set healthy boundaries.
Yeah.
Because we grew up in an age where I wasn't taught to set healthy boundaries. I had to learn that myself.
Me neither. I don't even know how to set them today.
Yeah.
I'm completely confused. I feel like when I set a boundary for myself, that I'm being rude to the person. That's how I think.
Oh, yeah. No,
like, if I tell someone, please don't talk to me like that, that's never something that I would say because I'm afraid of how the person's going to think.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not trying to be rude to you. It's just, so I don't voice it out. I don't know how to settle boundaries.
And that's one thing I'm really good at.
That's why I'm always victim of toxic relationships. Thank God my boyfriend is not toxic. But in the past, I had my share of toxic relationships.
I mean, I think I've had a lot of, I've learned a lot. So I've learned to set healthy boundaries. That's like one thing I saw in your notes because you were going to talk about your new relationship. And when Paul and I got together, we both like came together and were like, these are my boundaries. These are my boundaries.
Okay.
And because he came from a toxic relationship. So it's not just women coming from toxic relationships. Like,
it's men too.
It's men too. And, not to say our relationship's perfect, but because you have a lot of spice. Like, I'm very spicy. He's spicy. But we have boundaries and we respect each other, and I think that's huge. And also one of my boundaries was I didn't want to be with someone who has addiction. I don't want to be with someone who is an alcoholic. Like, I'm like, I'll have wine. And like, if I were to get a bottle of wine today, I will have a glass. Paul maybe will have a little bit because he doesn't drink. And then the bottle will sit there. And then eventually I'll use it to cook. I'll use it, maybe make the family spaghetti or something. So it can sit there and I'm not like jonesing like, oh, I need to have another glass. Like,
right. I guess I did set that boundary with my boyfriend. Just thinking about it right now. I did tell him, like, if there's one thing I will not go through ever again is being with someone that has addictions with
or
alcohol.
Abuse, right?
I was firm. So I did set that boundary. I'm not going to put up with this. I am a healthy, fit person. I'm looking for someone that is going to have a similar lifestyle than me. Yeah. I don't want no couch potatoes at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, passed out on the couch on their kid's birthday.
Oh.
Yeah. So, that was hard.
Oh, gosh. I know. We could get into that, too, because...
And you know what? Speaking of why... yesterday, I was sitting on the couch and I have my daughter and my son, and I have Google Photos, and I have thousands of pictures in there since the day they were born, and all the activities we did together, the videos I recorded them of them doing silly things, and we spent an hour, and I was showing them the pictures. That's when you were 2, 3, and we just had a great time and we were laughing, and And my Leah was like, Mom, you take so many pictures of yourself. And I'm like, well, because Mom's into the gym and that's how, I see if I'm putting on muscle or not. And Lucas, my son, is like, Mom, my teacher always brings you up in class. I'm like, what does he say? He says Lucas's mom is buff and strong, and he brings that up often too. I'm like, what? And then I remembered a week before that, his teacher walked past me and he said, "Hey, Lucas' mom."
See, you're making an impact.
And so it's funny because that's exactly what I wanted. I mean, I wanted my kids to have a mom they could look up to. You know what I mean?
But you're also like a teacher is recognizing you and using you as an example for the entire class.
Yeah.
That's about 25 to 30 students that you are like, inspiring.
Lucas's mom is super strong. She's
That's
probably
so cool.
stronger than I am in front of the whole class.
That's amazing though.
Yeah,
like,
that's amazing.
Some people, like the kids will probably see you and like, oh, I want to see Lucas's mom.
Yeah.
Dang, I want to be like her, Like that's inspiring, like 30 little kids.
Right.
That's so cool. Back to like the pictures is one thing Marissa said. She's like, girl, I want you to take so many pictures of your physique. And I was like, really? That's where I messaged you about the angles.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, really? She's like, yeah, take them.
I have so many.
And I don't take a ton. First of all, it's a time thing. Like, I don't know how people do it, but I'm like, also, I am 40, girl. Like, I don't know these angles. Like, how do you set your phone? So I'm like, you need to help me with the angles. Roxy said, she's like, Mom, you have such mom angles. Like, hey.
Oh my God.
I'm like, I'm 40, guys. I'm turning 41 soon. Like, I have the mom angles.
Well, I'm 39. I'm kind of
to...
the opposite. I got the good angles.
I don't know how people do it. Like, she's made fun of me so many times. Like,
that is so cute.
Hey. Hi, guys.
It's like my mom when a older person in general takes a selfie, it's from like you see a double chin,
right?
You know what I mean?
Like Ursula, they say like when sometimes it's like this, and then like most of the time, where you see the double chin, where you look like Ursula. So you need help me with my selfie game or the angles, like
yeah, I can do that. I can help you with this. You know all your good poses.
Like
your best poses, the tweaks to make you know that, or are you just looking for the best camera angles?
I think camera angles.
Okay.
Because like you have your poses and your angles. I'm like, okay. Marissa says take pictures. Well, the next thing is to not look like Ursula. Like, where do you set it? Like, what kind of, do you have a stand for your phone?
I do. I have a ring light that I use during prep or a stand. Yeah. The one that I use for training videos.
Yeah, we're about to get our garage set up because there's like we need to get the black backdrop. I do have the ring light. I need to get a stand. They say to mark the X on the floor. It's about to get serious.
Oh my God, I can't wait. I'm so excited for you. And as we go through other podcast episodes, she's just going to get leaner and leaner and leaner.
I know it's going to be crazy.
So
we have
exciting.
Like that Skeletor face. Oh my gosh, this one got kind of deep. I cried. Like,
yeah. So I know we've been really open and vulnerable on this one. There is no bad feelings with me regarding anything in my past at all. Like I said, my kid's father loves them very much. My kids are everything. He's a great dad. But there's struggles, and it's pretty common. Alcoholism is more common than I thought.
Yeah. And that was a boundary for you. You finally set your boundary. You're like,
I did.
If I'm not doing this anymore, and
right.
That's okay. And that's like, this is probably going to drop, I think, Valentine's Day week.
Ooh.
And
is that a good timing?
I think it's good timing because I think that's like a huge step into loving yourself.
Yeah, that's right.
Learning to love yourself. When you set boundaries, like, that's a self-respect thing. Mm-hmm. It's a self-love thing. And you're also showing your kids, like, this is where I draw the line because I love me and, like, the way I love myself also reflects how I parent.
Right.
And I told that to Lyric. I was like, I hope that you love you. I hope that you love you. I wasn't taught to love myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really good on teaching Roxy to love herself. Like,
Right.
I want her to love her in all that she is. Like, our kids are amazing, you know,
Yeah.
and focus on like the positive things and try to like, you know, like with Lyric, I'm like, you have an amazing smile. Like, he wakes up smiling every morning. And I know that there's anger. Like with Leah, you know that there's anger. Obviously, she's exuding it. Maybe she's doing better now, like you
Oh
said.
yeah, she's doing great right now.
But I want to focus on positive reinforcement, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like I wasn't taught that. Like,
Me neither. I was left on my own, basically. I love
yeah,
my parents, but they were too busy working and stuff.
it was a different generation.
Yeah,
So like,
we were left on our own.
yeah, we were latchkey kids.
There was I could go to the park at 8 p.m. if I wanted to. It's like
Just like come home when the lights come on, like so crazy.
yeah,
And
it's a different time.
didn't have tracking.
I
like-
remember going to the. I think I was about 8 years old. My dad would give me money to go buy him cigarettes and a lottery ticket. And to get to that little convenience store, I had to cross a boulevard, which is like, it's like incoming traffic from both sides.
my
And so what I would
gosh.
do, I would get there, I would look left and right, and I would and then I would buy cigarettes. He would give me extra change to get candy. Come back, give him his cigarettes and
That
lottery
is so
ticket.
crazy. Such different times.
It was a different time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
it's
grew up in such
crazy.
different times. Like, I was 9 years old walking my sister and I to school.
Yeah.
I could not picture that right now. Like, I am such a helicopter mom. Like, looking at where's Roxy at? You know, my poor kid, and she's 19.
It's poor them. We had it good.
We had it so good.
It was good. It was nice to be a child back then. I had a bunch
Gosh.
of fun. My childhood was the best.
I had a fun. Yeah, it was so fun.
Yeah.
We played outside.
Outside all the time. We didn't have any cell phones or technology. Well, I had like a PlayStation. It took Sega, Nintendo.
Yeah, we had
But
Nintendo.
most of the time, we spent it outside.
Yeah, all the time. It was like so fun. You had your neighborhood friends, and I think kids are just. Lyric is really social. Roxy was social too, but it's just a different. It's different now. I feel
Yeah.
like there's so many moving parts and schedules, and Johnny's got to go do this, and we
Right.
got to go do that, and here, there, and everywhere. So
I think the family and they got together more back then. I feel like people are not getting together as often as they did. Well, in my family, we kind of like grew apart. It's not something that I expected to happen because considering that we were so tight,
really,
you know, all the cousins and my aunts, and we're like huge family, and everyone started just drifting apart after my aunt's death. And yeah, and now it just feels like I have cousins, but that's all it is. You know what I mean? It's not.
Yeah.
There's no relationship really.
gosh,
Yeah.
I feel like I stay in touch with all of my cousins. I make sure of it, and I'll visit, and a lot of them are in Oregon, and I have one in Texas. But we try to see each other.
Mm-hmm.
We're pretty good at that.
Oh, that's great.
And my dad's side of the family, like we bug each other all the time. But I mean, my mom's side was not like that, where we had like huge family gatherings, you know. But I'm pretty family oriented, and I would like to keep it like that.
Yeah,
Like
me
that's
too.
huge.
I tried to. Well, this concludes our episode.
That was a
I think
deep
that's
one.
the deepest one we've shared. I don't think there will be anything to top that off. Maybe there will be more. Yeah, there's different subjects we want to talk about.
There's a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like, I know that for sure, but I know you have to get going.
Uh-huh.
And I think that if anyone is out there who wants to share their story, it can
Yeah.
be anonymous because we won't name drop if you,
You can
don't want. Write
message us and we
Yeah.
can read the story without naming the person on our podcast.
Yeah, because I mean, when we had said last time, like now you guys know,
Mm.
we are very deep. We aren't just competitors. There's so much more to us, and we want you guys to know that you're not alone. That's really the
Yeah.
whole premise is like, we're raw, we're authentic, and you're not alone on this journey. Like if we can do it, you can do it too.
Exactly.
So on that note, it's Love Week, and thank you so much, and we will see you next time.
See you next time, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Oh my God, I didn't expect to go that deep. Did I do? Is it okay though?